What happens when you live in a country with the boot so far down its throat that it can't be saved? Police seize not just 3D printed guns, but 3D printed toy guns. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm going to tell you all right off the bat that this is a story from Australia, though when I clicked the headline, I just assumed that it was California or New York. Color me surprised. Because remember, Australia is one of the shining examples that gun controllers like to use of their violence-free utopias. I think they've given up on Great Britain with that whole knife crime problem. Before I give you the whole story, today's video is brought to you by Blackout Coffee Company. I just got in a whole new order and I am really loving the chocolate covered cherry and their Morning Reaper medium roast. While Black Friday has come and gone, if you didn't get your sale, you still have a chance as they've got a buy two get one free deal with code CYBERWEEK. To help support the channel, a company that supports it, and the Second Amendment, go to blackoutcoffee.com/libertydoll. So, on Friday, Australian police put out a press release saying they had arrested a 17-year-old boy for illegal firearm possession. On its surface, this might seem scandalous. Police seize 3D printed firearms and ammunition, says the headline. Except, when you actually read it, it wasn't a 3D printed gun at all. Or at least a functional one. It was a toy designed to look like a gun. Police subsequently seized the firearm, a white and black replica 3D printed bolt-action pistol, and commenced an investigation. Okay, first off, a bolt-action pistol? Let me continue. Later that day, police attended and searched the boy's residence, locating 3 additional 3D printed firearms, including a silver 3D printed replica .44 Magnum revolver, a black and green 3D printed replica rocket-propelled grenade.
We need a pipe! There's all kinds of gas! It's gonna move! You got a lawsuit on your hands, mister.
A black 3D printed replica .50 caliber revolver pistol, and 3D printed ammunition. I know that 3D printing technology is always evolving, but to my knowledge, you cannot print out a working rocket-propelled grenade or primers and gunpowder and crimp it all together. So essentially, what this kid has was the equivalent of a Nerf dart.
It's Nerf or nothing.
I mean, I picked this thing up at a gun show, and this is metal. This is far more dangerous than anything that kid had, and it's just sitting on my bookshelf. Oh, man. Now, sometimes when we hear these stories, it's law enforcement just having a bad day and being purposefully obtuse. In this case, it is not the police being purposefully obtuse. They are literally just doing their jobs, just following orders. Because toy guns are, in fact, illegal in Australia. Orbeez, for example, great example. They are toy guns that I guess shoot little water-filled balls. I don't know much about them except that they're very chokeable and apparently other people's toddlers like to eat them. And so it's a thing. 3 of the 8 Australian territories actually classify these gel blasters as firearms and require you to have a license to buy one. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, people in Australia need a license to own a toy. Remember when Australia used to be a colony of hardened criminals? Another territory classifies them as a controlled weapon, 2 others as imitation firearms. Only 2 consider them toys but still put restrictions on them and only allow them to be used on private property. I honestly can't decide if this is better or worse than the time that the Australian cops arrested and charged a guy with illegal gun possession for a bong shaped like an AK-47. Still on the fence about that. Either way, we are clearly a long way from Crocodile Dundee.
He's got a knife.
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
And now before you jump too fast to say that this couldn't possibly happen here, Orbeez, to use our previous example, are also illegal in New York. They're considered air rifles, so there are restrictions on how and where they can be used, are considered a danger to the public, and violating any of the rules around Orbeez guns can get you up to a year in jail. Toy guns also need to be 100% brightly colored in the state to be considered legal. In California, they're also subject to specific color restrictions and are also considered imitation firearms. So, hypothetically, if there are any kiddos out there in the Bay Area 3D printing some Orbeez, you too could find yourself with a police escort. There are certainly stranger things that have happened. I mean, we all know that there are kids getting kicked out of school for doing finger guns and playing cops and robbers, or even, how dare they, wear a Second Amendment t-shirt. Point being, never ever underestimate the power of someone virtue signaling for an agenda. Anyways, that's it for today in our little foray into the down under with their rocket-propelled toy grenades. As always, you guys know the algorithm drill. Also, keep an eye out because I have been informed that I was officially nominated and in the categories for 2 separate categories in the Gundies. Top Voices of the 2A and Female of the Year. Super cool. Thank you to everyone who nominated me. So voting starts December 1st. Keep an eye out for that. You're allowed to vote every day. And there is, of course, always my second channel where I do all kinds of gardening and canning and prepping shenanigans with Liberty Toddler. We have a good time over there, and we just put out a new video today. Though by the time you are watching this, it will have been yesterday. But I am filming this today, so same day. Anyways, it is always a pleasure, even on the bad news days, even on the ridiculous days like today. And as always, thank you for tuning in and happy shooting. Ooh, that would have just got me arrested in Australia.